and then held a hearing to say where'd the $12 billion go, and they were like, we don't know. It's like if you forget to pay your gym membership or something like that.
Right.
Now imagine it's not the gym membership. You said your gym membership's $20 billion a year or something, you know. But they forgot to turn it off.
Jesus
it's totally
Christ,
nuts, is what I'm saying.
So insane.
Yeah.
So if you're handling the government like a business, you're going to have to go through all of these departments and do the exact same thing that you're doing with USAID. So how does that scale up? Like, how many people do you need to do something like that?
And we're really just going through doing very basic things here. It's as bad as Twitter was, the federal government is much worse. You know, in the case of Twitter, it wasn't a profitable company. It was like basically a break-even company, but at least it was break-even, and it had to pass an audit. The federal government is not break-even. It's literally losing $2 trillion a year, and it does not pass its audits. It fails its own audits. Like I think Senator Collins was telling me about how she gave the Navy $12 billion for more submarines, got no extra submarines, and then held a hearing to say where'd the $12 billion go, and they were like, we don't know. That was it. I mean, basically, stuff is so crazy. It's like only the federal government could get away with this level of waste. Of waste. It's mostly waste. It's mostly not fraud. It's mostly waste. It's mostly just
been able to do it this way for so long. They become accustomed to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Milton Friedman said. Like, money is most poorly spent when you're spending someone else's money on people you don't know. How much are you going to care?
Right.
And that's the federal government. So the people receiving the money want to keep receiving the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
Yes. So the reason I'm putting so much effort into this is that I think it is a very dire situation. It's not a, it's not optional, basically. So, America's going bankrupt, so that just can't happen.
It's just bizarre. Just because people have jobs doing bullshit doesn't mean your tax dollars should pay for this bullshit.
Yes. I mean, we found just with a basic search of the Social Security database that there were 20 million dead people marked as alive.
But were they getting money?
Some of them are getting money.
What percentage of them?
It isn't clear. We're actually trying to run this through. I was trying to get an answer right before the show. And this exploits the fundamental weakness in the government is that the various government databases, they don't talk to each other. So they talk to each other very poorly in a very limited way. So the way that the system gets exploited is by taking advantage of the poor communication between the various databases in the government. To give you an example of like what's happening, say Treasury, which is improving rapidly. The main payments computer is called PAM, like payment accounts master database or something like that. But everyone calls it PAM. That's responsible for almost $5 trillion of payments a year, roughly $1 billion an hour. And when we came there, we're looking at this PAM, and it's like the payments have no. You could put a payment through with no payment categorization code, and no description on the payment. Like basically untraceable blank checks. So we said, okay, our recommendation to the Treasury and the Federal Reserve was like, we need to make the payment categorization codes mandatory, not optional, and there needs to be an explanation. We're not judging the quality of the explanation, but there should be some explanation for what this payment is for above nothing. That's a radical change to the system that is being implemented now. My guess is that probably saves $100 billion a year.
Jesus Christ!
That's
where was that money going?
Rough order of magnitude.
Where was that money going?
Well, so this is where you get into the sort of gray boundary between waste and fraud. If money is sent to a person or organization from the government, and you didn't really deserve it, but the government still sent it to you, is that waste or fraud? So I mean, there's a lot of payments that where someone just approved the payment, but then that payment officer changed jobs or retired or died, and the payments just keep going. You know, it's like if you forget to pay your gym membership or something like that.
Right.
Now imagine it's not the gym membership. You said your gym membership's $20 billion a year or something, you know. But they forgot to turn it off.
Jesus
it's totally
Christ,
nuts, is what I'm saying.
So insane.
Yes, it's totally insane. So
what did you expect when you went in? Did you expect it would be
bad.
like this?
I thought it would be bad, but I did not think it would be as bad as this. I mean, look, the good news is that it's a target-rich environment for saving money. It's not like if it was a very well-run ship, if it was very efficient, it would be hard to improve. But it's not efficient, so therefore it is actually relatively easy to improve. Let's just say it's not rocket science. You know, I know rocket science. So it's a lot of mundane things. So some of the things are like so crazy that we didn't even know to ask about that because we just assumed like, you know, payments out of the Treasury computer would have a payment categorization code and they would have some explanatory note saying what the payment's for. The idea that it would be just untraceable blank checks didn't occur to us at first.
Jesus.
So anyway, just...
So is that one of the things that accounts to this? There's this $4 trillion that's kind of, they don't know where it went? They don't know...
I think that's probably a cumulative number.
Yes.
So, yeah, but yeah, if you add up, it's.
Do you remember that story, Jamie?
Yeah.
What was the story?
Almost what she said. There's like they just didn't have accounting for it. I think.
Yeah, it was spent on legitimate things. Don't worry, but we don't know what we spent it on.
Well, I mean, how do you know? Obviously, one cannot say it was spent legitimately if they don't know what it was spent on. That doesn't make any sense.
This is such a fascinating time because with this setup, the way it is right now, with Trump back in after all that happened to him, and with you there, and with RFK Jr. and Tulsi and Kash Patel, it's like this is a wild time to find out what's really going on. That's like never happened before. This is nothing like the first term.
No.
Like the first term, he had a bunch of neocons in the cabinet, and there's a bunch of shady people that he didn't know, and he had to appoint all these different people, and maybe he got some bad picks. Now he's had 4 years to stew on it.
Right.
And with you guys all going through this, we're getting an understanding of the government that we've literally never had before.
Yeah, this is a revolutionary cabinet, and maybe the most revolutionary cabinet since the first revolution.